part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
Run, William, run! He's got blockers in front. 5, touchdown! Joshua Cribbs turns disaster into a score! Kick blocked! They blocked the kick!
There it is.
It's official.
Tyvis, it is Victory Monday. Victory week, at least for today. Maybe the next couple days. Until next Monday.
Wait, whoa. See, you starting it off wrong, okay?
What do you mean?
I don't want you not. You mean for a couple of days? It's gonna be Victory Monday I guess it'll be Victory Tuesday next
Wednesday,
week.
Victory Thursday, yeah, and then Victory.
You know what?
Tuesday
I like the feeling. They started off last year like this. It's always a good feeling to just be 1-0, man.
Yeah,
1-0. Tie for first place in the conference and in the division. It's a nice feeling, man.
it is. Stefanski said in the locker room after the game, it's not how you finish, it's how you start. But this is a fantastic start. Wait, did I say that right?
You definitely said that backwards.
Well, I did, didn't I? It's not how you start, it's how you finish. Oh, Jesus. I had a long day yesterday.
I was about to say, Kevin Stefanski teaching the opposite of everything I've ever known.
Let me tell you something. I'm coming off of the longest day ever. I started at 8 a.m. and we went through the Muni lot because we had to get some digital content. And then
talking about yesterday?
Yeah. And then we had a tailgate for all of our advertising partners at ESPN Cleveland. And then I went to the game and spent the game with partners and then leaving. I'm not trying to rain on the wonderful day, even though it rained enough on the wonderful day, literally. It took me I didn't get home until 7:00 yesterday.
Oh, really? Guess what time?
Because of the traffic.
Guess what time I got back home?
Well, you live in Columbus, so that's still different. I live 20 minutes away.
You see that? Anytime you think you have it bad, there's always somebody that has it worse.
Well, that's true. But just let me have my 30 seconds of complaint. No. I watched this woman, by the way. I have to get this out. I sat in my car and I went back in our studio to get a cup of coffee because I'm like, I'm going to be here a while. Come back out, sat in my car, needed to reverse. Rookie mistake, Holly. You never drive full. You got to back in. You got to back in a parking lot. Rookie mistake. Learn my lesson. So I'm sitting there in reverse and I am watching this woman open the car door every 45 seconds and just vomit in the parking lot. And I'm watching it in my rear view mirror. No, this was in my regular parking lot at work. Oh, wow. Watching this woman just lose her shit every 45 minutes. It was disgusting. There was trails of puke, and I'm sitting there and I can't, and I'm like, again. I mean, the Brown fans are cheering for her. Rally, go Browns, trying to give her a Busch Light. I'm like, I gotta get out of here.
It's interesting that you say that because my wife was in the Muni lot yesterday for the game or pregame, and she said that it was her friend that she was with was puking her brains out. Then she said that she went somewhere and it was a woman, how you go to a restaurant and you sit down on the couches while you wait on them to get your table. She said it was a woman in there throwing up on the couch. It was Winking Lizard, whatever the Winking Lizard is downtown. She said that she was at the Winking Lizard and it was some woman just throwing up all over the furniture.
How, I guess I just don't. I mean, I don't know.
They don't know how to control. You know what it is? They think that they 21 again, and they, good. I say good for, because you shouldn't be drinking anyway. You can have a good time without drinking. I do it every day.
I know. Well, maybe you need more stress in your life.
I got a ton of stress. I just.
I don't know. I've never been, I've had my fair share of nights that did not turn out very well. Okay. Taj, our producer, his wife has held my hair back. Okay. Back in the day. But at this point, I just don't get it. And I don't know. But people were drunk. I was walking around 8 a.m. and it's crazy, but as you're walking through, it's exciting. Music's blasting, usually good music, which is great. Food, people are dancing, throwing footballs. I don't know how I don't have ever gotten hit by a football in any type of tailgating situation.
It went over you.
Yeah, they do, but it's still like the drunker people get, the lower that ball gets. So.
No, it's good. You short.
I trust no one.
You short, so it just.
I am short. Good old 5'3" here on a good day. Yeah, I mean, it was not to go off on that whole tailgating tangent there, but it was fun at first, and I was all excited. I was amped, and then by that, it's 6:15, 6:30. I'm still in my car, and I'm watching this woman just leave like trails of vomit, and it was like, what? I'm done. I'm good. And I'm also wet. I was damp all day, even though I was in our suite, but walking back and forth was a whole thing. But man, that win was
worth it all. Wasn't
freaking worth it. Sure was.
Let's see. You know what? It was the way that they won. See, last year, it was such a nail biter at the end. And, we come down to the kicker. He hits one from 58 yards or whatever it was. And it was so many just like mistakes where you couldn't feel confident. You were happy that they won the game, but you couldn't feel like confident.
No.
Although the offense struggled yesterday, or I wouldn't say struggle. They just didn't look crisp. It was obviously Deshaun didn't play great. He
struggled a little. He did.
Yeah. But 24-3 is not a fluke. Like that's just pure domination. And I think that's why this win feels so good to everybody, because it's like in the fashion that they won, like they shut down their best players, like Joe Burrow.
Arguably the best trio of wide receivers in the
that they're going to see.
NFL.
Probably they're going to see. And it's just, although they always play well against Joe Burrow and he never plays well against us, like it was just so dominant. Like that defense is for real. And I guess maybe I feel more comfortable because defense always wins championship. Yes, defense wins championships. And I don't know. I feel really good. Like I feel like this is here to stay. I feel like the way that they've played.
And I was going to ask you that. Do you feel like this is a fluke? Do you feel like this is
defensively
how it's going to be?
Yeah, defensively, I think this here to stay, because off of the preseason, it was the same. It was they've been consistent. And just going out there on game day and seeing the way that they won this game, to me, all it did was set a standard. Like they have set a bar for how dominant they could be. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still room for improvement, because instead of giving up 3, you can always give up 0. And that's right. You get no better than that. But holding the offense to 142 yards of total offense, I don't want people to. I think people don't understand how hard that is. Like that's unheard of in today. And
it probably will never happen again for Burrow, ever.
It literally is unheard of in today's football on any level, to hold somebody to that total offense. Like that's complete domination of somebody. And I don't think it's fluke. The way that they played, it was tight coverage. They were getting after Joe. I mean, I think they only had 3 sacks, maybe, whatever the case may be, but they were doing it and they were winning and they were having fun, and it was just confident. They had so much swag, the handshakes. Like you can tell that they have truly bought into what Jim Schwartz has done. And it goes back to say that Jim Schwartz is easily and probably the best hire they've had this offseason. Of all the moves that they made, I think the Jim Schwartz hiring has to be number 1.
Yeah, I mean, he deserved to get that game ball, hands down. I mean, that alone, his presence has really made, as we have seen, a major difference. And, his attack first mindset is really fitting, our pass rush group. So I'm so happy so far. And I don't think it's a fluke either. I mean, granted, they're going to be that, dominant every game. Boy, we would sure hope so.
Yeah,
but,
that'd be nice.
Chances are they're not. And that's where the offense is going to have to pick it up. But I will say, kudos to Stefanski too. He managed the game really well, and he used the defense to win that game. And again, it's about being good enough to get that win. And he read the room, right? And realized, like, Watson was not going to be able to perform hopefully the way that we were thinking he would. And he struggled. And so it's funny, I want to ask you too, because the weather was like the biggest topic. And I remember at one point you texted me, or we were texting about it, and I was like, Tyvis, it's mist. Because you're like, it's the weather's affected. I'm like, what the fuck? It's mist. And
don't do that. Don't do that.
So why, in those conditions, why? Just too wet? What was the deal? Why was it such a struggle?
Well, it's be hard. He talk about some mist.
I mean, compared to other weather. I mean, you look at that weather and you don't think that it's going to be.
No, because once that ball gets wet and it gets slippery. I mean, you got guys out there with towels trying to dry it off, but the ball is slippery. And then these guys, if you can't wear gloves in that because the ball's gonna slip right through it. So you seen Deshaun Watson slipping, the ball slipping. You seen Joe Burrow try to put a glove on, and that didn't work. That ball is very slippery. You can't grip it like you want to. And on top of that, Joe Burrow doesn't have the biggest hands in the world. So that's already another struggle right there. And that wind, although it was slight, it can take the ball away. And I think that's what it was. Like the ball just got wet. Like once it hit the ground, like it's wet and it's hard to just handle it. I mean, Jerome Ford got stripped for Christ's sakes because it was wet. So yeah, it changes everything. And you got to give Kevin Stefanski so much credit because last year we would have killed this man and criticized him because he would have never went away from the game plan. He would have continued to go out there. I mean, think about it. Just think about 100%. Last year in the New Orleans Saints game. It was terrible weather, but we continued to put the ball in the air and do all of that. And you can tell that it was some coaching growth, which people didn't give him that. I tried to tell you that, but you wasn't hearing it.
Sorry for not like just assuming it was going to happen. I need to see it.
I'm just saying, like he was a young head coach. He's still trying to figure this thing out himself, and he made some mistakes. And so far, it's only one game in, but he's learned. Stop going out there. Yes, you might have a game plan where we're going to throw this ball and go for 400 yards of passing, but you get out there and it's not going that way. But Nick Chubb is doing well. Then scrap the game plan and we're going to do what works. And for the first time in a while, I can tell you that's what it looked like he did. He said, you know what? The passing ain't work. Deshaun's can't get the control of the ball. He's underthrowing receivers. He's skipping it off the ground. Forget it. We're going to Nick Chubb. We're going to make Deshaun Watson become a runner. Like that's big time stuff. Like it was great to see him finally make adjustments, which was the biggest pet peeve with them last year. When halftime came, they looked like they made
that was my biggest pet peeve. That was my biggest.
They made no adjustments. And yesterday, from defense to offense to special teams, they went in that locker room, made some adjustments, and came out and continuously looked dominant in that game. And I think that's what I'm most impressed with. I guess last year they struggled so much that they had to go through that. It was growing pains. They had to learn how to do these things. They had to learn from their mistakes. And so far, one game in, everybody on that roster has learned from their mistakes from last year.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I will say, that was my biggest gripe last year with Stefanski, that we did not see. It's like, are you not looking what we're looking at? Is it get away from the analytics, get back into that football mindset? That's what we've been missing and needing, and that knee-jerk reaction of being able to adjust on the fly. I mean, all the players even came out. I think that what they were planning, what they had on, what they're wearing, nobody thought the radar said no rain. I mean, if you brought the app up, and it was beautiful everywhere else in the suburbs and everything, and just downtown, it was just like this. It was disgusting. But again, because of the mist. By the way, I will say though, the misty rain is the worst type of rain. I'd rather have a downpour.
So what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
But I'm not playing in the NFL when I'm like walking through the Muni.
Oh yeah, and for reference, let me reference this: how impressive this 142 total yards offense is. Did you watch the Sunday night game?
Yes,
it used to happen.
Disaster for a good chunk of time.
40-0.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they scored 0 points, they had 171 yards of total offense. So the Browns did the Bengals worse than that. That's what I'm saying. It's so amazing. Impressive.
Yeah.
It's so impressive. And I don't think it was a fluke. So I just wanted to bring that point up to you.
Yeah. Well, look, when you have an adult in the room, right? That wasn't a complaint at one time, I think, with the Browns. When you have an adult in the room like that that's leading, and we talked about this last week, when you have a leader, when you have someone that you want to play well for, that you want to work well for, that you want to be that of what they're showing you and what they're leading you to be, then that's really important. So if he's commanding that attention and respect and that type of play from these guys, and them wanting to not only play well for themselves and their own contracts and their own money and everything, but for him, then that's exactly what they've been missing. So I'm hoping that it stays that way, but I have a really good feeling. Even when I left Greenbrier, I just felt, I think I texted you at one point too about, man, the defense just looking really good. Those guys, I mean, there was an extra fight in them. And it was clear, I look, what?
They had to be. You know why?
Oh,
because they looked at last season, whether or not they want to admit it.
Boy, they missed a lot of big plays last year.
It was their fault. Like a lot of the season fell on the defense's shoulders last season. And to be fair to my man Joe, 285 yards total offense, 3 takeaways, 3 sacks for the Saints. That's not bad either. So maybe you just needed a different voice. It was something about Joe Woods that he wasn't getting through to these players, but obviously he's still effective. I mean, New Orleans, it was a close game, 16-15, but on the defensive side, on them stats, that's not bad either. 285, 3 picks, and 3 sacks. So Joe Woods is an effective coach. He just wasn't effective with the Cleveland Browns, and that's just part of it. You got to get the right guy in there that can get through to these players.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's like any, and also too, I mean, I've not been well at certain jobs or different companies, and you leave and you go and you thrive somewhere else. Like sometimes it is your environment and who you're around and what you're doing and the situation at hand. And so, Godspeed, Joe Woods.
Yeah,
we're good.
I know for a fact that he wasn't connecting because, like I said, I talked to somebody from the Browns, and they was just explaining to me about how better these linebackers are playing and explaining like they're doing this in the passing game. And I laughed because I just said, I said to her, Joe Woods teach that same thing.
I know. We talked about that last week. I know.
The man's hilarious. Like, so, like I say, it's just different voices, different results.
Yeah, and people have selective hearing. I can listen to someone talk and not like what they're in, like not like their voice or what they're saying, or not respect them enough. And someone tells me the same thing from a different person, and it has a different effect. And you listen. It's
maybe it's not what was said. Maybe it's the way it was said. Maybe Jim Schwartz just got a way of, and like I said, he's a no nonsense guy. I mean, you see. You heard Deshaun Watson in the pros game. He said that Jim Schwartz brought that take no S attitude, and that defense takes no S.
Yeah, badassery.
So it's a contagious and it's effective. If you hold guys accountable, because don't get me wrong, these players, I think they want to be great for the most part. I think they want to be great, and that's half the battle in the NFL, because there's a lot of people that's there just to be famous, Instagram famous and all that jazz. But you get some guys in there, you get a group of guys that want to be great, and understand the magnitude that bringing just a championship to this city, what it would do for their careers,
a good run, a team that tries.
That's what I'm saying. Just to bring that, understand what it would do for your career, your life. Like, that's the thing. You want to be remembered for. You want to be remembered for doing something great and having a great career and having fun. Like, I think winning a championship in Cleveland is better than any ring Tom Brady has ever won, because of where it's at and the conditions that it's in. So. Yeah, I just said that. And I think people are starting to get it. Like, it's actually, like, for a while, people just talked about it. Like, it'd be nice to get a Super Bowl. It'd be nice to do this, have a nice, good team, blah, blah, blah. But, like, you can actually see it. Like, they are right there. Like, they're on the cusp of actually doing it. And all they got to do is continue to keep believing and stay the course and, just stay healthy. If they can do that, like, it's really attainable this season for them.
It is. It's we can see it. It's in our, it's not in our rear view mirror anymore. But switching a little bit, I want to talk about Watson a little bit. He did struggle yesterday. 16 of 29 for 154 yards, had a touchdown, had an interception. Seemed to be in a duress most of the day. He was sacked 3 times. He underthrew Marquise Goodwin on 2 different occasions and just didn't seem to have enough time to get comfortable really being in the pocket. So there was a lot of things that he was battling. Again, I think that sounds like the weather really did have a lot to do with it. But again, when your quarterback or your offense is not having the game that you had schemed for, you adjust. And that's what they did. So we don't want that to be every week. But are you worried at all about him? I want to talk about it going into Monday now. Like, you know what I mean?
It's a couple of things. It's a couple of things to be worried about. I think that Jack Conklin thing is something to be worried about because
Jones has to step up now.
Yeah, and apparently not a lot of people are confident in that. And I was talking to my boy Jason about it, and he's just saying like the rumblings in Berea is that everybody is not. Like he said, DeJuan Jones, he might look okay, but he's having a ton of missed assignments in there. So that's something we were, especially knowing that TJ Watt is who he goes up against this upcoming week. So that's something to think about. Jed Wills looked bad. He's actually the reason that
he always looks bad.
He's the reason why Jack Conklin. He's the reason Jack Conklin got hurt, though. Like
he's the reason for a lot of really crap shit out there.
Yeah, but he got to figure it out. So the tackle situation is kind of concerning. Yeah. I guess I gotta see DeJuan Jones up against TJ Watt, which that's a tough ask because you remember James Hudson, it just didn't look well. So
how are they prepping DeJuan Jones for Monday?
Well, it's all about him being a pro. Like he has to grow up really fast, and it's never with DeJuan, even at Ohio State, it was never on the field. It's the off the field stuff with DeJuan. And it's just maturity issues. But hopefully Bill is getting through to him, and he needs to understand how big of an opportunity he has right now. And he shouldn't let this moment go past because this is something that doesn't happen often. It's rare that you come in as a rookie 4th round pick and all of a sudden you're about to be the starting right tackle for a team that's so people are talking about now. Like you actually got a chance to actually do something great, and you'll be a big part of that. So I think he has to really mature down. Those veterans have to really take him and say, listen, we need you. And he needs to understand how much this franchise is dependent on him right now. And he has to grow up. And like I say, they're going to help him. Obviously, they're going to get some tight ends to his side and try to help with TJ Watt because that's a tough ask for anybody. But at the end of the day, he's going to have to win more times than not. And then and now transition into Deshaun Watson, he got to figure it out too. The Marquise Goodwin thing, like we've been begging for these guys that can stretch the field and these home run hitters
and speed, all of it.
And we need guys with speed and all of that. You finally get that, and you don't connect with them. Now, a lot of people are more worried about it than I am. The reason I'm not worried about it is because Marquise literally didn't play preseason, training camp. He just stood on the side and just encouraged his guys because he was dealing with the blood clots. So there's no chemistry there, They had, obviously they was good in OTAs, but that was months ago, He'd been throwing all these different guys. He kind of lost the chemistry with him. So I don't know how much Marquise is practicing because I know that they're still concerned about the blood clot thing. So they want him to be healthy. So a lot of, I think this past week, I think they just said, just practice on the side, and in the game, we're just going to put you in, just go to the game. So it's not like he's getting a lot of practice reps with Deshaun. So their chemistry is something that has to come in game, that we have to watch in game because we won't really get to see it from a practice standpoint. I think Deshaun realizes that you just got to throw it as far as you can. You can't overthrow that guy. That guy's he's an Olympian. You're not going to overthrow him. Just throw it as far as you can. And I think that obviously the first one, He underthrew. The second one, he was under duress. He kind of threw that off his back foot, and he threw it 60 yards off his back foot. So that's impressive. But he needs to clean that offensive line. Got to clean it up and get him a clean pocket so he can see it. And weather also played a part in it as well. So we'll see against Pittsburgh. It should be better in Pittsburgh. I have a ton of faith that it'll be better in Pittsburgh. We shouldn't see no balls being skipped. Yeah, that's my thing.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're also coming off Steelers getting blown out by San Francisco 30-7. That Brock Purdy, 49ers.
Wait a minute. I just got some breaking news that has nothing to do with the Browns. The Cavs are signing Tristan Thompson.
What? That's a lie.
He back.
Are you serious?
Look, what'd this say?
Oh my God. I didn't even know. I guess what was he on, just a one year with the Lakers or what?
I don't know. I don't even know who he was with. I thought he was with the Kings. No, he was with the Lakers, wasn't he? Yeah, I don't know.
He was with the Lakers for what last, I think. All right. Yeah, so that blowout, man. So I'm happy that we're coming in 1-0 versus the 0-1 Steelers. Do you know that we have not won a regular season game in that stadium since 2003?
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's a year I graduated high school. By the way,
you're 9 years. You're 9. Well, technically,
don't get in the weeds. Okay,
eight.
Ain't no need.
It's 8. It's not 9. It's 8. It's 1 year shorter. Because technically I graduated early. Yeah, I was supposed to graduate in 12.
What are you, 29?
Yes. Last year of the 30s.
Yeah, I'm 9 years older than you.
I turned 30 in February, so I got 4 or 5 months left. I don't know what I'm gonna
enjoy it. 30s are good. You'll like the 30s.
Look,
I like the 30s. Well, 2023, as we start the fall, it's a big year for Mr. Kenny Pickett. So obviously there's a lot of hype surrounding him. I put him on my fantasy on my bench, by the way.
How did that go for you?
Well, he's on my bench. So
well, listen. Now that we're transitioning to the Steelers talk, they're gonna be upset, and we're gonna get the best of them for sure. It's a rivalry game. The best way, they just got embarrassed at home, so the best way to try to win their fans back is to try to beat the rival team. So they're gonna come in fired up for sure. And I do believe that they have a nice, their skill position, especially on offense, is nice. Like George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, even Allen Robinson, adding him in free agency, Najee Harris, the tight end, that's solid. Their offensive line is still a work in progress, and I think this defensive line is really gonna have to get after them, which I think they can. And they just can't let Kenny Pickett get comfortable, because if Kenny Pickett start feeling himself, he can deal the rock.
Right.
But they just gotta be more physical. They gotta be the more physical team this Monday night. And I believe they will. I know they will be. They will be.
Yeah, I'm going to the game. Did I tell you that?
No, you didn't. You going to Pittsburgh?
We're going to Pittsburgh. We're broadcasting live from Pittsburgh.
Enemy lines.
I've never been to that stadium. I'm nervous.
I got the chance to play in it in the preseason game when I was with the Colts. I played in it. Good school, pretty cool.
Formerly Heinz Field. What is it? Acrisure Stadium, I think it is now.
I don't know. I know him as Heinz Field. That's when I played.
Yeah. Well, I'll be there. We're going there, and I'm gonna be in the press box. It's gonna be I'm gonna wear all black. I'm going incognito, Tyvis. I'm not trying to draw any attention.
What are you, scared?
Because I'm a little. You know what? I have never been. I'm trying to think if I've been in true NFL enemy territory at a game. For NFL, I have not. For the World Series, I was in Chicago.
Must be nice.
I wasn't.
Must be nice being you.
It's just, I'll tell you what.
It is nice.
It is nice. I've worked my ass off for a long time, and here
I hope one day, Holly. I hope I can say the same thing.
You already are. You're already on a fantastic.
I'm going behind enemy lines on next Saturday. I'll be live at the Wolverines, the big house.
Ooh.
I'm trying to decide if I want to wear red.
You got to wear some of it. Like I'm going to go into Pittsburgh and I'm going to wear like
wear the Elijah
but I'm
Moore
gonna have
jersey.
a brown shirt on under. I'm going to have something. I got to have something to rep.
You should wear the Elijah Moore jersey.
Yeah, that's real incognito.
Hey, what they gonna do to you?
It fits great. I love it. I'm waiting. I can't wait. So the next, I can't obviously wear it to. Well, I probably could. I could probably wear it to a game at home. It was just usually I wear work stuff, but
what they gonna say?
Nothing.
Can't be a fan.
Oh, I know. You're right. We'll see. You didn't draft Elijah Moore, did you?
No, not well. On every, like, I'm in 4 fantasy leagues, and 3 of them I have Elijah Moore. The one that you and I are in, no, I didn't. G. Bush got him.
G. Bush did. Gotcha. Oh yeah, he was drafting all the Browns players.
Yeah, he
good for him.
I mean, I got Deshaun and Coop, so.
Cool. All right. Well, let's talk prediction for Monday.
For Monday night, okay, the Browns do really well historically in primetime games. So I don't expect anything different, but I do expect that the Steelers have some fight because what is it, 30-7? 30-7 is pretty bad. But they've been exposed, and that's the thing. San Francisco exposed their weaknesses. So they're going to really try to fix that. I just think the Browns is just too much right now. And they clicking. If that offense starts clicking, it can get bad. So I'm going to say the Browns win. I'm not going to say they're going to win 30-7 because that's just disrespectful, and I don't think Pittsburgh is like that. I'm going to say the Browns win 24-10.
All right, I was going to say 24-17.
Yeah.
I think they do it by a touchdown.
24-10. I got Dustin Hopkins. It's my boy. I'm about to D-Hop. He the real.
Hey. We got a kicker.
Baby.
I said that like so many times. I cannot even. I was like, we got a kicker. He was perfect from 42, 34, and 43 yards.
Do you know how good it felt to sit there and be like, oh, I'm not even worried about it.
I'm not even worried about it. He got it.
It's good.
It's good.
It wasn't even like,
it's good.
It wasn't them kicks that's like, he just barely snuck it in. Like, he was straight down the middle, and it was in the mist. I said, oh, yeah, he's solid. He's solid.
It was great. No, it felt fantastic to have a little bit of security there. And thank God. Again, Browns making adjustments. Like it's necessary. We got to. So
are you gonna, if you had to help our friends out and with a DraftKings bet, what would you suggest? Is Nick Chubb getting over 100 yards rushing?
Yeah, I'll take that bet. I mean, I would always take that bet, but for Monday night, I'll take that bet.
Okay. If you had to pick a anytime touchdown score, who would you pick?
Deshaun Watson.
You think Deshaun? So you know that, don't that only count if he runs it in?
Yeah.
So you saying Deshaun?
I think he's going to run another one in.
I'm taking David Njoku. Book it.
Right.
David Njoku. Book it.
I
Red
like
zone touchdown.
It's time. We need a little bit of that.
If anybody, the people that's listening to this podcast, it is guaranteed David Njoku's going to score.
Wow, guaranteed.
Guaranteed. Okay. Monday Night Football, he's going to score. I'll take it.
Okay. I think Deshaun's going to run another one in.
And I want a little cut. I want a little cut of the money because I can't bet on it.
I'll bet that. I will bet that.
I'm a Cleveland Browns employee, so I can't bet it myself.
Well, I'll bet that for you. We'll split it 80-20, 90-10.
That's fine. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Well, we'll be back next week on Tuesday to break down, hopefully, another Browns win. So look at us, picking the Browns again. We're very optimistic on this podcast.
17-0, here we come.
All right. Yep, what you said. We'll leave it at that. Well, for Tyvis, I'm Holly Wetzel, and Taj, a producer. His name is Ty Cordts, by the way. We say Taj, but that's all people need to know. This Orange is Orange, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Make your bets. and we will talk to you next week. And take us out, Mr. Powell, please.
Go Browns, baby. Super Bowl, here we come.